Hello and welcome to Mama Says. I'm your host, Amber Autry. Oh, it has been a minute since I've released an episode because real talk, it is not easy producing a podcast. I'll book guests and they'll drop day of, or people I wanted for the podcast aren't ready to have a public conversation with their mom, which is fine, but it does get stressful since I do want this podcast to continue. It makes me sad when interviews don't work out, but I've decided that the interviews that do happen for a reason, and I'm very grateful for those. The messages I get from my guests after we talk telling me how special the interview was and how much fun they had are worth it, so I'm going to keep going. So thank you for listening to Mama Says. I'm really excited to see where this goes, and if you love the podcast, share it on your socials or with a friend. It really goes a long way. This week, I had the pleasure of talking to comedian Jessica Misra and her mom, Jayne. I admire Jessica so much because of her wit, killer roast, and she's a really good friend. Many of these traits I saw in her mother, Jayne, as well, of course. Jayne went to school for journalism, but decided to leave that behind for what she really wanted, which was to be a present mom. These two women are hilarious, kind, and creative. Jayne even blesses us with a performance of her pizza song. You're going to love it. So, wherever you are, I hope this episode brightens your day and makes you feel a little closer to your mom. Please enjoy this episode of Mama Says.
Hello, Amber.
Hi, Jayne. How are you?
Fine. I'm Jessica's mom.
So nice to meet you. I'm Jessica's friend, Amber.
I'm getting my camera on just a minute.
Oh, no worries.
There.
Hi. Oh, I love your shirt.
Oh, thank you.
That is cute. So we're
I
just...
like that. See, it kind of goes in the back. It's got a little tie.
Oh, cute. I love this collar. Where'd you get that? The collar is cute.
I don't know. I found it in the back of my closet.
Oh, nice. That's how I like to go shopping too.
We really probably have enough in the back of our closet. And I have a rule that if it doesn't get worn in that season, it's out of here.
Yes. Yes. Have you always done that?
No, but actually just Jessica was, I believe it was Jessica was reading Maria Kondo.
Yes.
Oh, I know, does it bring you joy? And I thought, I've gone through my closet sporadically, but not as much as I should. So I thought, well, some things look really good on the hanger, but I always avoid it because it doesn't look good on me.
Yeah.
Said, I'm not going to be a hanger shopper. I'm not going to hang it so it looks great in my closet. If it doesn't look good on me, it's out of here.
That's right.
I pass it off to my 5 daughters.
That is so true. Like, do you want this cardigan I can't bear to look at? I'm like, I don't know.
5 daughters, man. I mean, I've heard Jessica talk a little bit about it. But that's a lot of girls.
It is. I don't know. I fell in love with my husband when we were pregnant the 3rd time. He said, I don't care if we have another girl, because we'd had 2 girls first. And he said, I love these 2 little girls so much. He said, I wouldn't care if we had all girls. So we have 3 boys and 5 girls.
Wow. That's
Jessica, the lucky number 7.
That's amazing. So, hi, Jessica. Good to see you, my friend.
I'm just getting snacks.
Don't be sorry.
Hot water.
Yes, gotta hydrate.
Yeah, Mom.
Think it is good hydration.
Oh.
Vibes.
So Jayne, did you always want that many kids?
I always wanted a large family. I was the youngest in my family. There were 3 of us, and I always missed not having more playmates. And whenever I had more kids, we played a lot together.
Oh,
and we still do.
Jessica, what was it like growing up with how many? 6?
7.
7.
Mm-hmm. It was awesome. Sorry. I mean, I always liked it because it's like, I feel like my teachers always were like, oh, you're another Misra. And I felt like very proud. Like I'm like in the clan, And then holidays are so fun. Like we're so loud and like no one is listening to anyone, but like we're all talking. But it's just like so fun. Like holidays don't feel like holidays without that like loud, obnoxious, everything is happening at once, you know?
Yeah. So you said that you played a lot as kids, Jane, and like you still do. How do you guys stay close with all those people? Do you live close by each other or?
So me and Jacinta live in Chicago. That's the sister right above me. And then Jana lives near mom and dad. And then my brother used to live near mom and dad, but he just moved. He moved to Tennessee, actually.
Really?
He's
Yeah.
here. He just came in the door. He's
Are
here
you
this
serious?
week. Yeah, he's moving. So he has to be
Oh.
there. So he just came in the door to get something. And so he's
Okay.
here.
I didn't know John was there.
Well, he has to, the moving company required that he be there in order for them to move the stuff from their house because they have to pack it up and move it. So he's here
Okay.
till Friday morning.
Okay. But yeah, they just moved. Did they move mom to Knoxville or was it near Nashville?
Knoxville.
Knoxville. Okay.
Oh, that's a great place. That's where I went to college. He's gonna love that.
Oh, nice.
Really? Where did you
Yeah.
go to college?
Where did I go?
Mhm.
University of Tennessee.
So are those the warriors?
They're the Vols, the volunteers.
The volunteers.
The
That's
what?
right, volunteer state.
He's scared of us. We volunteer a lot. That's our mascot.
At first I was like, is that kind of some animal I've never heard of? Volunteers.
We're just
Actually,
really
it's
nice.
considered a good thing to volunteer. It means you have a generous heart.
But mom, you're not supposed to fear them.
Well, who said you're supposed to be afraid? How about if you try to emulate them?
Full spirit.
How about if you say, wow, these are great people. I want to be just like them. Why do you always have to be afraid?
Mom, take it up with the Mascots Association. All right. I don't know why. You
Oh,
always have to be
mascot
afraid.
makes me better, you know? Give me something to live up to. It's hard to live up to a Cybird is all I can say. Iowa State or Cyclones.
Mhm.
So did you raise your kids in Iowa, Jane?
All of them. They were all born in the same hospital, but not at the same
Wow.
time.
I would hope. So yeah, how did so with everybody like moving around, how do you guys still maintain that close-knit relationship that you guys have?
Right now we're having Zoom.
Mhm.
We're Zoomies.
We have a Slack channel that the family like talks in. Yeah, I don't know. It's like very businessy, but my sister set it up. And so there's like stuff for like, oh, like hanging out, jokes for me. There's a jokes for me. There's like special days. There's like a family hangout little channel.
Do you share your jokes in the Slack? Is it like just you sharing your jokes, Jessica?
No, it's like them suggesting jokes. They like created it because they were like, oh, we want to give you a lot of jokes. And then it's just like been dead since then.
The whole family tells jokes, you know, where we laugh a lot and we enjoy life. And we whenever they were little, we used to have our joke du jour and we would make up a joke. And one time this man called selling siding. And I said, are you an adult? He goes, yes. And I said, well, I'm at home with lots of little kids. So it's good to talk to an adult. I said, I really don't need siding, but would you like to hear our joke du jour? He goes, joke du what? Joke du jour. I said, our joke of the day. He goes, all right, ma'am, tell me your joke du jour. And I said, well, do you know why the lady married the earthquake scientist? He goes, no. I said, well, he admired her faults. Ha, 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 admired her faults. I said, well, you have a good day. He goes, ha, 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 admired her faults. I never got a call from that company again. And that was before the do not call list. So I don't
Oh
know
my
if
God.
you know,
My mom has been outsmarting telemarketers since day one. They never expected you to be nice to them.
Yeah, right. That's actually a really good strategy. That's a real
I think it's a life strategy because if you're kind to everyone, you make the world a better place, starting with yourself.
Aw. Okay, you're so sweet. Jessica, why aren't you that sweet? No, I'm just kidding.
I'm in my rebellious phase where I'm
So like with all those siblings and living in one house, do you guys have a specific special relationship that you could put into words, like you could describe?
I feel like I act and probably look the most like my mom. So it's kind of, at least I don't know if you'd agree, Mom.
I do.
But yeah, so I feel like we just kind of have that because just naturally. I don't know.
What
Yeah.
what were you gonna say, Jane? Were you gonna say
I was going to say that one time we went to pick up Jessica from the high school, and there was a big crowd of people out front. And so we thought, oh, we better get Jessica. There's a lot of people out there. And we looked, and Jessie was in the middle holding court. And everybody was gathered around her listening intently. And they were kind of enjoying the fun because she was making it fun and exciting. And we don't know what she was talking about, but the hands were flying and her face was animated. And my husband says it's one of his favorite memories.
Okay, I literally do not remember this at all. Like I have no idea what I was saying.
Well, it doesn't matter what you say, it mattered how you said it.
That's really funny.
You captivated people, and your middle name means captivates.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm.
Well, no. It doesn't actually. It's just Rebecca. But my mom has these like, it's kind of like, what are they, like God cards? Do you know what I'm talking about?
She who captivates with God's grace, because
Yeah,
God's grace, and she who captivates is what Rebecca means.
Yeah, it's like Bible like
Mhm.
meanings or something like that.
Okay.
We didn't invent the meetings, though we could have, I suppose, but we didn't. They're in the book of names. Look it up.
Look it up. Get out your Bible, Amber.
Look it up.
Look it up.
I was thinking of a baby book. I don't think they really tell the meaning of most names. I could be wrong.
I think that'd be really interesting if they did that.
Some people would be
there's
disappointed, I think.
They wouldn't let us leave the hospital with Jaina till we had a name picked out. And they gave us this humongous thick book full of names.
Really? Were you having trouble picking one? I mean, you had 7 kids. You probably run the gambit of the names.
Jaina was the last one. She's my youngest sister.
I could have named 20 more. But names, coming up with names is not a problem in our family because we all have good imaginations. But it does take a while to negotiate because it's got to be something we can all live with. And it's got to be something my husband and I both really love. In fact, my husband named Jessica.
Yes.
I had just had Jessica and I was lying there on the bed and he came up and said, let's name her Jessica Rebecca. And I was like, okay.
Oh.
Everyone else had like a name for like 9 months, like they're like, oh, definitely John. My dad walks up, he's like, Jessica, done.
Oh, well, it fits. I think that's nice. So captivating a crowd, obviously this, being a comedian is what you were meant to do. Did you always know, Jane, that Jessica was going to go into the entertainment industry?
I was hoping she would be a speech pathologist, what her degree is in. And I was hoping she would be a funny speech pathologist because I've always been fascinated with people who could help others speak.
But I think you did know I was going to be a performer because I got a lot of notes after gymnastics class. You know what I mean? Like, they used to call me Hollywood in gymnastics because I was like so dramatic.
Well, actually, people would watch her because there was something about Jessie that just made you watch. So other people perhaps did more things in their routine, but Jessie was pretty competitive and she did extremely well. But when she was on the floor or something, you just had to watch. And everybody would say, how's the daughter with the hair?
Are you the only one? Oh, what were you?
Yeah, I'm the only one with this hair, really.
Really?
Yeah.
I have some curls.
Everyone else is kind of like thick, wavy Indian hair.
Well, it's beautiful.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah. What are some ways that you said you're like your mom, Jessica. What are some ways that you, in your daily life, you're like, oh, that's mama?
Everything I've been doing lately. like the other day, I accidentally roasted someone. What did I say? My mom is famous for this. We call them mom burns. Because she'll like try to be nice. It's so funny. She'll try so hard to be nice that it's so much more mean than if like, if she was just trying to be mean to you. You know, you'll be like, no one likes my pot roast, and she'll be like, well, I thought it fed the birds very nicely. And you're like, oh no.
I remember she did come in and say she dyed her hair, and Jessie has the most fabulous hair color ever. And she came in and she had dyed it black. And she said, Mom, do you like my hair? And I said, you have a pretty face. I didn't care for it. Because, I mean, black hair was okay, but the hair color she was born with was beautiful and gorgeous. And it really made her face come alive, and the black looked like she was trying to hide and witness protection, you know.
My hair is so dark, I didn't look any different.
A mom knows though, come on.
Yeah, she knew.
That's so interesting, because you are like, I was telling you this before, Jessica, you're like getting more well known for how good of a roast comic you are, how good you are at roasting.
Mm-hmm.
I guess you feel like you got that from your mom?
This is the origin. This is my origin story.
It's from her professor father.
Oh, there you go. Yes.
My family's kind of roasty in general. But Jane is the queen, you know? You bow down.
You bow down.
I don't know, technology causes a few snafus. I was trying to put something was fantastic for my son, but evidently I didn't notice that behind my hat they had effing bleeped out. And I meant to say fantastic, because that's what it said. Big letters fan, bottom, big letters tastic. So fantastic. But John said, Mom, did you notice what was behind the hat? And I said, I didn't see anything behind the hat. And he said, well, blow it up a little bit, look closer. And I said, oh, I mean that. And he goes, you didn't, Mom.
Okay. So this is a good one. Jacinta loves this story. So during the pandemic, my sister didn't go back for Thanksgiving, obviously. And so she like posted the Thanksgiving meal that they had. And my mom posted, wow, what a great reminder that sometimes a simple dinner can also be good.
What's wrong with that? She's always telling me that not to make so many things. And so her simple dinner looked elegant and beautiful.
Oh,
I was saying that a simple dinner can be sublimely beautiful, nourishing and delicious.
You mean so well, but you have to understand it's hilarious.
Well, the most disconcerting thing I have to tell you is when I'm talking to Jessica and she pops out her notebook and says, wait, let me write this down. And I said, I didn't say anything funny. She goes, yes, I know.
Not funny to her, but it is funny. Very different things.
Have you seen her stand up live, Jane? Have you seen Jessica live?
I have. I have seen it.
That's wonderful. What do you think?
I think she is an extremely talented young lady, and that she is amazing. She brings laughter to this world that needs to remember that joy is what we are called to have.
Oh, now that's a damn compliment right there.
Yeah, damn. She does it both. She does both ends of the spectrum real well.
Do you tell jokes? I don't know if I've ever heard you tell jokes about your mom, Jessica.
I used to tell only jokes about my mom, and then I was like, okay, I have to get my own act, I think.
Yes. I was going to start getting some kind of royalty for how much she used me in her jokes.
There you go.
Sign a contract, Mom.
I'm the queen.
Get yours.
Get yours. Jane,
sorry.
No, go ahead.
I was just gonna say I used to have like a ton of jokes because like my mom was always like saying like funny things. Like I used to call her Jane because I thought I was being edgy. And so then she was like, Jessica, only 8 people in this world get to call me mom. And I was like, 8 is such a high number. Like, that's still crazy.
Oh.
I like the part of the joke where I stopped the kids. My oldest daughter wanted to call me Jane. And I said, I'll tell you what, I'll give you a choice. You can either call me mom or your mightiness. Mom. And I said, well, your choice. She called me mom for the rest of her life.
That's great. Was there a difference in raising boys and girls, Jane? Was it harder for one of them?
You know, my girls, my younger girls were pretty easygoing. So they were not difficult to raise. And also I learned how to raise girls.
Mm.
I learned how to be a better listener. I learned how to not talk when I wanted to. I learned to listen when I wanted to go, what? You know, and I learned that they will reveal to me the amazing adults they will be if I but listen. But I did have the most trouble with my older 2 girls because they were very rebellious. And so that was difficult. But well, actually, my oldest daughter was. My second daughter was just incredibly smart and was ready to conquer the world at age 5.
Oh. And so you, with the listening, like, is that more for girls? Like, you think girls are more like talkative and boys are kind of like easygoing, or what was your experience with that?
Well, it's really personality, but I find boys talkative, but they don't always use words. My son would raise one eyebrow, and that would be the same as me jumping up and down and going, oh my goodness.
Mm.
So boys have their own language, and some like to be more effusive, some they like to show emotion openly, some do not. Some girls don't like to do that. I find it's more individuals, but I think it really helps to let them know how loved and precious they are and to have fun together, to enjoy each other.
Yeah. You're so well spoken. Do you have a performance background, Jane?
Journalism, actually, broadcast journalism.
That's
And
awesome.
there it is, changing the world with another diaper.
Yeah. So tell me a little bit about who you were and what you did before all the kids came about. Like, what was your childhood like? And
I was raised in rural Missouri, and I grew up very strong, very sufficient. I could drive a tractor at 8. My dad put me on a bush hogger and let me drive that so I would have experience, because he said every girl should know how to drive a bush hogger. And he was considered very avant-garde because he told people that his daughters needed an education too. And they said, Verge, why do they need an education? And he goes, their husbands could die. He goes, Verge, you're so smart. That's right. You didn't think of that. And he goes, that's right. They need an education.
wow.
He was extremely proud of me when I graduated from the University of Missouri in journalism, broadcast journalism.
That's amazing. That's so cool. So you graduated, and then when did you meet your husband?
I met him actually the summer before I went to college. I was in 4-H, and he's from India, and he's from the international, he was in the international 4-H group. And so we got to meet and we got to be friends, and we still are.
How long have you guys been together?
44 years.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's amazing. Jessica, what was it like growing up in a household with like 2 parents, seeing people in love? Do you have memories of just like watching them canoodle?
I keep our cues and noodles in the right place.
Oh, okay.
they would do this thing because my dad, every time when he comes home, he gives her a kiss, and we would be so grossed out by it. We'd be like, ew, that's our mom. But he'd be like, look away, the kiss is happening, whether you like it or not.
Aw, that's so sweet.
I have a saying that your husband should be more supportive than your pantyhose, but then they stopped wearing pantyhose. There's the second part of it says, or you have to change one, but that one part.
That is, Jane, you're so fun. Okay, Jessica, do you like bounce jokes off your mom? Because I feel like you guys are both so funny.
Oh, no, I usually don't, honestly. Yeah, only if it's about her.
Like, is it okay if I say this type?
No, I'm just like, this is what I wrote about you. And we're like, here you are. You know, what do you think?
I don't mind that Jessie puts me in jokes because Jessie's cruel humor is never cruel.
Mm.
And it's maybe a little sassy, but it's never cruel. And I can get behind humor that doesn't belittle someone, that doesn't take away from someone, because unkindness masked with humor is still unkindness behind the mask.
Totally.
And so I don't mind that Jessie does, tells jokes about me, because we're hilarious. People are hilarious. You really want hilarity? Look in the mirror. I mean, some things right there to keep you laughing. And so I don't mind, because I'm proud of the fact that she brings joy into people's lives and that she helps us laugh at the little foibles and the things that don't make sense.
Aw,
I like
nice.
That's true. And I am proud of you. I'm very proud of you. And I love the fact that Jessie gives her all in whatever she does, whether it's a beam routine or, she was really sick when she came back from India as a child. And she was supposed to go to Texas to her Bella, what's his name?
Bella Caroli.
Yeah, Crowley's camp, because she was so good in gymnastics.
He's a U.S. Olympic coach, I think. I was in this program called Tops, and if you qualified, you would go to his ranch and compete.
So Jessie was really good, but when she came back, they weren't going to let her go. But Jessie was so determined, she just, out of sheer willpower, she got right back in there. And I love that about her, because she's tenacious.
Literally everything I did was bad. I did a back handspring on the beam and missed my hands. But it wasn't a big deal. But I was I got there through sheer determination. But should I have is the question.
Should I?
That is just something we won't address at this time.
That's a journalism major right there. I love it. What made you give up gymnastics, Jess?
It was just kind of my coaches had left, and there's not too many options in Ames, Iowa. And it was kind of getting to the point where it's if I wanted to do college, I need to kind of step it up, and I needed that kind of support. And so I was I just don't feel like I'm, in a place where it makes sense to continue anymore. So I just went over to diving basically, and it kind of hit that same I don't know, there's something so exciting about gymnastics. And it's you want to get good at it, and you want to be you want to work hard, and diving hit that for me again.
So how far did you go in diving? What made you leave diving?
So I did diving in college. But then I started getting really mental about it. I started getting really in my head, and I was really paranoid I was going to hit the board. And so I was trying to work through that, but then I realized I was very unhappy at the college I was at anyway. And I was it doesn't make sense to pursue this at a college I'm not happy with. So I decided to transfer colleges. And then I just didn't really pick up the diving thing again, because it had kind of lost that feeling, I guess, of I'm so excited to work on this.
Yeah. Do you get that feeling with comedy?
Yeah. Oh my God. I don't know if this happens to you, Amber, but the adrenaline every time.
Yes. That's amazing. How did you found comedy in your new college?
Yeah. So I happened to be doing a theater, I was theater adjacent. I barely had enough credit. I had all these had all these credits to get a theater minor, except for history of theater, and I was I just can't do it. I literally don't care about theater like that.
Right. Yes.
Yeah. So I was doing all these plays and just stuff like that. And then my friend, she ran an open mic and she was like cast in the same play as me. And so I ended up kind of getting introduced like through that.
Okay. Were you excited when Jess was like, I'm gonna go after comedy like full throttle, Jane? What did you think?
We tried to hit every show she did.
Oh man,
They come. They're out here, dude.
they're out here too.
They came to Pratik's album recording.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, that was such a good show.
Yeah, they had so much fun.
That was a great show. It's
And
so. What were you gonna say?
I was gonna say, and then like Pratik's parents met my parents because his album was Nick and Sheila's kids, so it was like a whole like family thing. It's cute.
That's amazing. It changes the game when your parents support your creative endeavors, you know? I mean, like it really, there's a lot of people who don't have parents that support that kind of thing. So
Yeah. It does feel weird because I feel like there's this idea in comedy that you need like pain and like no support. And just like
You have 7 siblings, that might equal out.
That's true. I've paid my dues.
You don't know negotiation until you've negotiated bathroom rights.
It's such a thing.
do you find like what are some things you learned like growing up with that many siblings, Jess, that you find in like your day-to-day life with relationships with other people?
I think the biggest thing I noticed is that like when I went to college and was living with 2 roommates, I was like, it feels so empty. Like, why is there not 7 people always around? You know? Because like, yeah, like you know what I mean? Like I just feel like everything is so communal. Like when I go out to eat with friends, I'm like just assuming I'll get a bite of their food. That's how it works. Me and Jacinta were talking about this. We were literally like, we like have to order what we want now because we know we won't get a bite of our friend's food. We can't just count on that anymore.
Yeah, that's a big one.
Yeah, right?
Unfair.
Yes. Now when I go out to eat, I want everything on the menu. I'm like, I need a tasting menu because I have a bite of everything.
That's amazing. Jane, do you still do journalism?
No, I don't.
What did you like after college?
Papers. I certainly edited papers.
Oh,
And I certainly gave homework help. I taught English as a second language as a volunteer and things like that. And I make rosaries. I'm a rosary maker. So I make a lot of rosaries.
really?
Yeah, I do. And they're always free. If you need one, let me know.
Oh, that's so nice. When did you start doing that?
I learned whenever my second child was little. And I couldn't volunteer like the other mothers did because I had too many kids at home. And so I thought, well, what can I do? So someone taught me how to make rosaries. And some of my kids were really good. I mean, my son John could get 10 beads on with just one thrust. He was very good with his hands. And so, we just made rosaries.
Well, she's also being modest. She worked for the Des Moines Register, I'm pretty sure, and then decided to give up that job because was it John? You got pregnant with John, or was it Rhea?
No, actually, I worked for a television station in Columbia, Missouri.
Oh,
But
okay.
when I got married, I said I wanted to raise my own kids. I didn't want to do daycare. And with 8 kids, that was a good decision.
Yeah.
I told my husband I would manage on whatever salary he made, but I wanted to stay home with our kids because I wanted to be the one to tell them stories and give them imaginations and read books with them and walk to the library and do picnics outside and, just do all those fun things that parents are supposed to do with their kids.
That's really freaking cool.
But the funniest part is I always said I wanted a lot of kids so I could see the Disney movies. And they say, oh, what a good parent. And I was going, oh, go Robin
Hood. That's amazing. Do you think you said earlier, you were like, oh, I could have named, 12 more. Do you think you wanted even more kids?
I want every child we're given.
Aw. You're so sweet. That's
I
so
love
nice.
babies. I was coming today, I was walking, and there are these two moms sitting down. One was very pregnant and the mother was going, no, and this little baby was crying. It wasn't getting her anywhere. And so as I was going by, I said, do you want to hear a pizza song? She goes, a what? And I said, a pizza song. Song? I said, "What's a song?" And so then I sang a little song about a pizzeria in my song. And then all the kids were mesmerized.
Wait, Mom, do it though.
You want me to do it?
Yes.
Yeah.
Mamma mia, pizzeria in my lovely melody. Mamma mia, there's a pizzeria in my lovely melody. Pass the sausage, pass the cheese, pass the mozzarella, please. Mamma mia, pizzeria in my lovely melody. But anyway, it changed the whole vibration in that setting. And the kids were happy and they started playing nicely and the mothers looked relieved. And they looked at me kind of a funny look like, why would you do that? And I said, 8 kids here. They go, that explains it.
Oh,
Kids, you know.
have
But
you
I love kids.
have you ever thought about like taking care of kids as like a extra side job or as a hobby, like a nanny or a doula?
No, because once you've raised 8 kids, you think that probably that's not what you want to do anymore. I mean, to be honest, I mean, I used to have Tuesday night fun nights with 2 grandchildren, but I don't know. I love being imaginative and I love thinking of things. I've written a children's story. I've just never published it. But my writers group always said that, Jane, you should publish these. You should make 10 more. And I said, you can't pour from an empty pitcher. I don't have anything else left to give at the end of the day. So you thinking that I need to write more books or do this or that? My husband was always saying, you should write this and that. And I'm thinking, when? Because it's like between the laundry and and canning corn or whatever I was doing, because in Iowa we do those things.
Right.
I'm really into nutrition and I like to make sure our kids have proper nutrition. And so I kind of work to make sure we have, fresh vegetables and that kind of thing. That's my hobby.
Wonderful. What's the book you wrote about?
It's about a troll with 7 foot of feet.
7 foot.
What?
Her name was Dilly Dinkle, which was named after the troll I played with quite a bit in my childhood. And Dilly Dinkle had 7 foot of feet. And she was by the night fire. But when she left the night fire, she had all these adventures. And then when she came back, she was back into the safety of the night fire.
My mom used to have a ton of like trolls that she would line up on her like dresser. And me and my siblings, we were so scared of them. And
well, they stayed out of the dresser anyway. It's never bothered stuff.
But yeah, I remember that. And then like sometimes we would play with them and you're like, oh, like these trolls are special.
Oh,
I don't even know where they are anymore.
I
Grandkids played with them and who knows where they are. They're somewhere.
Have you ever thought about like recently, like, making the book publishing a thing? Or are you still like, that's not really what I'm into?
No, I'm thinking of doing some writing. My husband and I were thinking of writing a book together because he said, the experiences we've had are unique. I'm a brown belt in Taekwondo and
wow.
And, there's a lot of, I've lived in India for 4 months. These things usually don't happen from a little farm girl from Rush Tower, Missouri. So our experiences have been unique, but here we're talking about our wonderful daughter, Jessica.
Aw, so sweet.
I think you could write the book. I think it'd be fun. And it'd be interesting, right? Like your parents as people, like the lives like they led.
Yeah. Yeah, my dad was in World War II and he wouldn't talk about it growing up, but when he was towards the end of his life, it was all he could do was talk about it.
Wow.
And it really gave me insight into the things that the people in the war had to see. And it made me realize what he overcame to be such a good dad to us.
That's amazing.
Because you had to go out where he was. He was a fire chief in his spare time. And if you wanted to spend time with my dad, you had to go out to the garage or wherever he was. And my sister would be upset and she would spend time in her room and pout because she didn't think she got enough time. But if you're not kind to others, if you're not happy, people don't want to be around you, you know? That was a teenage thing. She's out of it now.
Of course. Yes. May I ask what I know you were happy leaving the television station and for good reason, because it's obviously you're a good mom. But what was the television station like? Like, what did you do there? Were you sad when you had to leave at all?
No, I did it as part of my degree. I did it, it was the television station that's associated with the journalism. And
Okay.
so it's funny that I'm a really good writer, but one time I was covering I think it was an accident, and I was thinking, I see what the paramedics are doing. I see what the nurse is doing, but what good am I doing? And I'm thinking, you know, who cares? Yes, this accident led the news, right? Because there was an accident. I had good footage of the accident and everything, but no one was there to comfort the person who was in shock that she had an accident. No one was there to make a difference. And I just thought to myself, this is the wrong line of work for me. So
Wow.
I used my journalism to edit numerous homework papers. Some of the things from my husband I would edit, manuscripts and things like that. And when my oldest daughter was a year old, I got a job with the Social Security Administration. And then I realized I didn't want a job with the Social Security Administration. I wanted to stay home with my kids. So I did.
That's great. That's really great.
I don't know if I ever told you that, Jessie.
Oh, no, I'm listening for real. Like,
It's really nice. So, what is the most beautiful thing you find about each other? Something you really admire in the other one?
I feel like one time my mom was like my mom is like, as you can see, like incredibly positive.
Mhm.
And one time she was like telling me when I was like such a like angsty teenager, she's like, when it's too cold outside, sometimes I imagine I'm too hot and then the breeze is cooling me down. And in my head, I was like, that's dumb. But like now I think about it all the time because I'm like, oh, she just is like basically seeing the glass half full for everything. And in fact, that's probably the reason she's gone through so much in her life and like endured it. Cause like you have had a crazy life, mom, and like you're very independent and all that stuff. So it's like I mean, it's just like admirable because I feel like there's so much negativity. There's so much you could be bitter, you could be all these things, but instead you choose to see that the day is too hot and the breeze is cooling you down.
It's really nice.
And something I really admire about Jessica is I admire the kind of friend that she is, because she really, especially in gymnastics, it's a lot of mental things. And she would really listen to a lot of her teammates when they were distressed and distraught and even more. And I really appreciated that she had the compassion to reach them where they were and to offer good advice or maybe just a listening ear. And she didn't tell anybody else.
Oh, another thing about my mom, thank you for never being a gymnastics mom. Crazy. My mom was so chill. I really appreciated that.
Oh, Jane, where did so Jess was saying like you've had this crazy life and you have such a positive outlook, which is obvious, but where did you pull that from? Had you always been that way, or how do you remember the moment where you're like, okay, I'm going to shift my perspective?
Amber, actually, I pull it from a relationship with God. That's where I get my strength. I think that you need quiet to go inside of yourself and talk to God, because I think God talks to everybody, but most of us don't listen. And I pull it from a strong faith and joy of living. I love life and I love my kids. I'm crazy about them. And I believe that we are not our mistakes, and neither are our children. They're not their mistakes. They're going to make mistakes. Mistakes are another way of saying learning opportunity. And I remember once I heard this lady talk about, she was in some class and she was helping some teenagers with it. And the teen pulled her over and said, you know, she said, I lie all the time. I can't help it. I lie to my teacher. I lie to my friends. I lie to my mom. I can't help it. And she said, well, you know, you just told the truth now. I don't think that you're a liar all the time. Because look, you just were very honest when it was really hard. And the girl looked at her and says, oh, I get it. She's from Ireland. She goes, oh, I get it from my father, you know. Well, she said, I don't think so, because she said, I think you're being very honest now. And she said, I tell you what, you do something for me. The little girl said, what? Teenager said, what? And she goes, well, she goes, the next time you're tempted to tell a lie, tell the truth, fight against that, because that's not who you are. And so she said the next class they had, the girl came running in and goes, oh, guess what? I was going to tell a lie, but I didn't. And she goes, yay, that's progress. And I thought to myself, we have to look for the good, because you generally find what you're looking for, right? And so you think about, if you look for what's good in people, that's what you're gonna find.
But
I
Mom,
like she said that. Yeah.
Mom, Grandpa and Grandma weren't Catholic, so why did you go to Catholicism?
Grandma and Grandpa were Catholic.
They were. I thought they were Christian.
Nope, they're Christian. Catholics are considered Christians.
Oh, okay. I mean, there are some differences, but I thought you went to a different.
We thought they were Protestant. No, they were both Catholic. My mother converted, and she said she asked the priest so many questions. She thought he would throw her out, but he just laughed. He loved it. And my grandfather converted when he was to marry my grandmother, I think, but he back in the day when it wasn't popular, he did it because he just followed what he thought was right. So yeah.
So now that this is stamped in time, and I feel like you guys are pretty open with each other all the time, but what is something that you would like each other to know forever?
Forever?
Yeah. Forever?
Jessica, I love you no matter what. I am so proud of you, and I will always be proud of the young woman you are. And I love your kindness and compassion, and I want you to know that even from up above, I'll always be proud of you.
Oh. Well, you know, I feel like there's nothing to say besides that I love you, you know, and that obviously I'm so happy that you were my mom and like you're so supportive, and you know, I feel like I've gotten so much from you and learned so much, and am probably becoming you. So every single day, Tyler, my boyfriend, will be like, you're becoming your mom. And I'm like, yeah, I know.
Just tell him, aren't I lucky? Never let them give you a burn that you can turn into a compliment. If you can turn it into a compliment, you're not trying. It's like one time somebody called this priest an asshole, and he goes, well, actually, he said, that would be an advancement, because he said, right now I feel like I'm dust. So he said, asshole, he said, that's pretty popular. That's pretty popular. Everybody has one. And he said, if you didn't have one, you'd be full of shit. I don't know. I thought it was kind of a nice way of looking at it.
Oh my God.
If you can't turn a negative thing into a compliment, you're not trying.
Love you, Mom. I love you so much.
That's your challenge. Because they used to come up to me in India and they would say, well, you know, Anglo kids that are half Indian have this trouble. And I said, well, it's a good thing then that my kids aren't from England.
Yes. Okay. I feel like you've dropped so many, but I'm gonna add, just in case, I'm gonna ask this last question, Jane. What would your Mama Says advice be, whether that's to kids or other moms?
Encourage your children and act in such a way they can see it.
That's great advice. Well, it has been such a pleasure to talk to you both, to meet you, Jane. I am just blessed by your presence, and I'm so glad that Jessica is becoming you, because we need more people like you.
I like Jessica, who she is. She's saying she's becoming me, but really, Jessica is her own person,
Totally.
and she has her own gifts and her own abilities. And I am in awe of what she can do in front of an audience.
I'm a reincarnate of you while you're still here. Like, I don't even know how that was possible.
Just remember, dear, you can always do the accents if you must, you know.
For my entire upbringing, my mom was like, we're like 1/16 Irish. I'm like, that's not impressive.
Well, I could do Southern if you'd like. Bless my grits.
Hey, that's the best Southern. Usually people are like, oh, I'll do Southern, and they mess it up. But that was really actually good. I'm from Tennessee, and I'm impressed.
They spent, 2 years at the School of Journalism getting me this, hi, I'm from nowhere accent.
Oh.
Jane, there's an H in where. Yes, Mr. Tonky. Where? Oh, no, it's not where, it's where.
Wait, mom, tell them the Jimmy Carter quote you and dad always say to each other.
What accent?
Yeah, so a reporter was talking to him. They're like, what do you think about your accent? And he goes, what accent?
What accent? I've heard the joke another way. They said, Father O'Malley, does God have an accent? He goes, no, God doesn't have an accent. He talks just like me.
That's brilliant. You guys are both so talented. We got to get you a daytime television show now.
Yeah.
Jane's like, yeah, sure.
She's literally, I asked her, I saw this thing on Reddit, and it's like you ask your parents to write like a recap of their life, like one chapter. And I asked my dad to do it, and he goes, of course, when do you need it by? What's the deadline? I'll have it double spaced. I asked my mom, and she goes, oh, what, I have homework now?
I think that's hers. There you go.
See, it was because of a miscommunication. She was saying a consultant, and I thought she said an insultant.
That's so great. Well, thank you guys for sharing your time. This has been really nice.
Thank you so much for having us. This was great, and I had so much fun. And you're an amazing host. So thank you.
Thank you.
Amber. I started to question you on things, and then I thought, wait a second, this is Amber's show. Not. I better be on best behavior. What did you find? And I'm thinking, Jane, stop. Turn it off. Sometimes those little talks you have with yourself make all the difference.
Yes, they do. I encourage it all the time to be out loud too.
Mm-hmm. I love it. I love that for us.
All right, ladies, have an amazing day.
Bye, Amber. Have a good one.
Bye, Jess Beck.
Bye, Mom. Love you.
Love you too.